I'll tell you one thing from this personal video diary stuff that I'm making now. See, that's the thing I was embarrassed about. See, like, I need to get rid of the gray hair. I've had long hair for a long time, and I need to shave more often. I had no idea I was like so homeless. It's terrible. Oh, and I got a question about the necklaces. This is not actually a necklace. What it is, but I had it made. That part was given to me. This is a nice heart. I have a few hearts. Most of what I have in my collection, I should do a thing on it one day. There's a good story behind every single thing I have. Almost every single one of them was given to me by somebody I've helped out, which is important to me because to this day, probably the most amazing thing to learn is that with all the reassurances and the things that I've witnessed and the things that I've seen, maybe as a protection mechanism, I still am remaining a skeptic, and people know or it knows how to push my buttons, and so whenever I get these doubters, I get angry, and I start defending myself as if I'm not standing confident in my position, knowing damn well what's right and what's not, and even realizing at times, does it really matter? Because even I accept the fact that most of what I say sounds bizarre, and I'm the one that's going through it. But that's my reality. That's something I learned from Henry Rollins when he said that. He was saying about his experiences when he was telling stories about, by the age of 20, the things that he had seen were so radical and so insane. And he would try to tell these stories, and people would just think he was trying to act macho about it. Like why are you telling us this? Are you trying to tell us this because you're cool? You think you're cool? You think you're better? You must be exaggerating these stories. And so I hesitate to tell people. But I'm getting over that. And a lot of the stuff I put on repeat, meaning I know I repeat the same stuff. There's a reason for that. I know I mumble a lot also. It's because I bite my tongue a lot. I have problems with my teeth. I literally spit the tooth. Spit the truth, spit the tooth. Sometimes when I got so fiery and I start yelling and barking and roaring back in the Archangel days, you're going to think this is, again, I'm just, I'm just being honest with you. Um, I would I would have little pieces, chips of my teeth would come up, would fly out of my mouth when I was on full blast. I'd be yelling that ferociously and that angrily, and the things I would say would be so wicked towards the negativity that I was seeing that eventually I started getting little chips. There was never one tooth or whole tooth. I never felt any pain, and it's deteriorated to the point to where like now I have little angles and like ridges on some of my teeth. So it's my tongue that I'm worried about biting. So I speak in a little, kind of like fast way, but strange way. But one thing I wanted to point out was that tend to forget how difficult it was for me when all of this first went down. And really, one of the first poster child concepts that I had in my head was, look, man, I'm a guy. I got tattoos on my arms. I drink beer. I did drugs. I had a hot girlfriend. I lost a hot girlfriend. Got kicked out of my parents' house. I'm a classic guy, man. I'm the perfect beer drinking football fan. And what I witnessed and what I experienced was so reversed of that. And I'm always an outspoken person that I wanted to be that guy that, how can I say this? I wanted people to know, and I hope they knew me before, that I'm not some 37-year-old guy who's been like this my whole life. All right, I'm the guy who's now coming out here telling you the hippie over there. All right, he's not lying to you. The guy in the corner there, they're preaching about Jesus and all this shit with the guitar. Okay, his style's a little weird to me too, a little fruity maybe. All right, but you should listen to him before you listen to the shit you're listening to. I wanted to be the not normal guy because I wasn't, but I wanted to be the guy who got accepted at least as being somewhat of a rebel and at least not a loser in the sense of like, what a dork, what a loser. I had cool friends, I had celebrity friends, you know, and I'm not a good-looking guy, so it had to be for what I had inside, and I wanted people to trust me on that as who I was. Don's saying this, and then that started flip-flopping into, well, Don's crazy. Before it was Don's crazy because he tells the truth, and then when they started hearing some of the things I was saying, of course it backfires and it's, dude, you hear what Don's saying? Dude, he's crazy because the truth is stranger than fiction. But I couldn't identify with anybody that was having the same exact identical experiences as me. In fact, at first I didn't know anyone who's awake. There were not YouTube videos out there. Um, I don't think I had one other friend on Facebook that I didn't have one. I did not have one single person that I could bond with or talk to at all. That not only like I'm talking this is like talking as a friend. about the experiences I was going through, but even knew any of the words or terminology I was using. Like I couldn't even explain my problems to somebody who was a skeptic. They were just like totally, what are you talking about? I have no idea where you get what. It's like psychobabble to us. And then slowly but surely, I would stumble across, there would be presented to me people that said the exact same things I said, had the exact same experiences I had. I remember thinking, what was Alan Watts said one thing, and when he talked about the contact experience, he said it was as if in the contact experience, and I've never actually seen anything. I mean, I've seen vapors and mists, but I've never seen an angel appear in front of me. It's never happened. You think I've come up with that story by now? I hear them all the time. I'm glad I'm not a seer. But that's one of the things. I would come up with these sayings. And David Icke is the one who really turned me on to that. That is a form of speech, of psychic speech, so that you know it's not you just talking to yourself. It's psychic communication. It's worded in a poetic way so that you know it's not you. And one of the first ones I got was, you should tell these people they must know a knower and see a seer. And what does that mean? You need to know somebody who knows what's going on, and who knows these things, or someone who can see things. So you must know a knower or see a seer. And then we broke it down on all these different levels. Know a knower. Noah. What does Noah know? He knows an ark. I'm a Noah knower. I know the ark. I know an archangel. But Noah knows her. Well, there was a chick on the boat apparently, and if Noah knows her, she's going to see a seer. He'll get burned. I mean, it was stupid little riddles like that that gave me rules of play of how things are supposed to be done so I wouldn't forget them. And as soon as I started hearing and being guided to some of these videos that I didn't know existed and didn't exist at the time, and hearing these stories, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I couldn't tell if people were going to think I stole his story, or wait a second, did he steal my story? When was this made? And that's how it went. And one of the main people I feel bond with is David Icke, and it's only been about, believe it or not, 6 months. I mean, Alex Jones, I appreciate all the truths that he exposes everyone to. I mean, he's one of the heroes. But, all those guys, Alan Watts, McKenna, they're all on their own shit, man. I don't really see things exactly how they see them. We all see the same thing. We all do. And that's one thing that I think is great. The brilliant quote says, one thing about the people who are awake that you have to understand is they don't all communicate with each other. A lot of people keep it quiet, keep it private. And it's amazing that they all seem to have gone to this other side, haven't talked to each other, but when they come back, they all seem to have the same exact story of what they know and what they see, and they get militant about the truth and post about it all day. And that's something I think you should think about. How is it that we all come back and we don't disagree with one another when it comes to the basic fundamentals of truth, what the conspiracies are, and what the big lies are? We all agree on that. We may spell things differently, we may say them differently, we may deliver the messages differently, but the basic gist of the story is exactly the same. You could have not talked to one other person on the planet, and you would come back after what you saw. Oh, if you saw what I saw, and you would tell me a story that I'd be like, that is exactly what happened to me, no matter how you told it. And David Icke was definitely one of those guys where I heard this, and I got emotional. I started crying because it's a hard dude. You think you're the only person on the planet that knows these things, and this is serious stuff. It's not like you know a secret about who beat up the kid down the street and you're not telling. I mean, these are things that involve the entire planet. You start thinking you're in a very surreal world, and you don't know what to do about it.
20 years on, I hope I've contributed one thing, and that is to let people realize that if you believe in something, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other and don't get caught in defending yourself or feeling sorry for yourself or falling for the fear that what other people think of you because you're saying something that's different, then if you keep putting that one foot in front of the other, you get somewhere. It's when you stop that everything stops. And if we believe in what we are saying, and what we're saying has validity, then eventually it will be shown to be so. But that process only plays out if we keep walking. And you realize over 20 years that whatever people are saying about you today, they'll say something else tomorrow, so don't get caught up in what they're saying today, whatever today is. Because the fear of what other people think is the state of perception that stops people making a difference. Because you can only make a difference in a world of uniformity if you operate outside that uniformity, and that's always going to get you laughter, it's always going to get you ridicule and condemnation. And we either want to make a difference and we take that on and say whatever, or we don't, in which case nothing changes. And when I look back at this last 20 years, I can see very clearly in my life what happens to all of us.
True, dude. So true.
You come into the world, and then you go through a series of experiences, and they seem to be random. They don't seem to be connected. Well, this is happening now, and that's happening then, and this is happening today. But when you look back, you see how it's been a journey of connected, often fantastically synchronistic experiences that are leading us in a certain direction. If we choose to go. If we don't choose to go, then we just run on the spot, which is where most of humanity is because of the way the system is structured. So when I look at the different aspects of my life, I see the chain of events that's led to now. I mean, this was me when I came into the world. I was bloody happy to be here, I was. Mom, Earth's a shitty place and want to go home. And I felt like that as a kid, to be honest. But then my life unfolded, and I became a professional footballer. Have you seen them teeth? When I saw that bloody picture, I've seen them teeth. Last time I saw a set of teeth like that, it was winning the Grand National. But the football side of it, which just seemed to be, I want to be a footballer. Actually, because I ended up playing professional football with rheumatoid arthritis, not recommended by the way, I had an iron will to keep going whatever. And my goodness me, that came in quite handy a few years later. Then I went into television. What a bloody poser, look at him. I don't know, he should curl my hair then, you know. And thank you. It's been a long time since anyone did that to me. In fact, that's the first time, I think. And what that did was show me the inside of the media, shite, and also gave me a public profile which was going to lead to something later that wouldn't be ignored, although at the time I wish it was being ignored. And then I went into politics, you can call Green Party politics, and I saw politics from the inside, how it's just a game, how it's irrelevant to human life, and how people who were fighting with each other in the public arena were doing anything but that behind the scenes. And then, bang.
I'll be right back.
1990.